And let me remind you of the over $100 million in mitigations that CPS has invested in our schools to make them safe. They included ventilation, testing, health screening, face coverings, enhanced cleaning, and other in-school safety measures. And as the expression goes, the proof is in the pudding. CPS had 3 weeks of successful implementation of these mitigation plans in our schools. That was until the CTU blew up that success and created chaos that we are now enduring. And also remember, the CPS staff and principals have been in our schools throughout this pandemic, feeding our kids, getting them ready for the return of students, and continuing the hard work every single day. And oh, by the way, there are teachers that are still coming into our classrooms to teach because they know it is safe as well. Now, we do not have a deal to report this morning, but we will remain at the table in an effort to get a deal done. The ball is in the CTU's court. Despite a series of productive exchanges between CPS and the Chicago Teachers Union leadership on Monday and Tuesday that should absolutely have led to a comprehensive agreement yesterday, we are deeply disappointed to announce that we still have not reached a deal. Yesterday, there were a series of steps backward that were simply not productive, and we have conveyed that problem to the CTU leadership in the strongest terms possible. We waited for hours last night, hours, and still did not receive a proposal from the Chicago Teachers Union leadership. And as of this morning, we are still waiting. But to be clear, not patiently, not anymore. After 80-plus meetings and going above and beyond to address the CTU leadership's various issues and concerns, we are out of runway. And let me give you a sense of what we have put on the table. We have a comprehensive vaccination plan developed by Dr. Arwady, which is sensitive to the unique demands of our communities. We have provided ADA accommodations for those CTU members who themselves have underlying medical conditions or are the primary caretakers for household members who do. We have offered to accommodate the CTU members who do not fall into one of the two above categories, but do have a household member who has a health risk. We have driven agreements in 5 areas on safety and health protocols, ventilation, testing, contact tracing, and joint safety committees. But still no comprehensive agreement. We are still waiting on the CTU. How is there time to orchestrate press conferences and letters, but not a focus on getting a deal done? Let me just add that we are here today talking about these issues in the midst of a backdrop of a citywide positivity rate of just 5%. These schools are open and safe, and we are ready to welcome our students back. And frankly, they've been ready for some time. All we need now is the CTU leadership to get serious and meet us at the finish line. This week is finals week for our high school students. In support of them and to avoid any further disruption, we extended our cooling off period through the end of the day today, as Friday is a previously set non-attendance day. We've extended ourselves beyond measure out of empathy for our teachers in this very difficult time. And we will continue discussions to address the remaining issues as quickly as possible in our further effort to avoid a catastrophic disruption to our school system. But let me emphasize again that time is running out. We need our kids back in school. We need our parents to have that option. It should not be that CPS parents of all the schools in our city are the only ones who don't have the options for in-person learning. It cannot be so that a public school system denies parents that right. And let me emphasize again, while remote learning works for some, it absolutely doesn't work for everyone, not by a long shot. And I'm going to keep repeating these numbers and metrics because they are devastating and should create a sense of urgency in all of us to do the right thing for our kids in this difficult time, black and brown kids who look like me, coming from circumstances like the one that I grew up in, who are struggling and are failing. We are failing those children by not giving them the option to return to school. Failing grades, depression, isolation, and so much more. That is why we must get a deal done and get it done now without further delay. So let's do it. CTU, let's do it today. Let's get a deal done. Enough is enough. We have everything, more than, to make that happen today. And we simply can't afford to wait any longer because our children cannot afford to wait any longer. All of us are hearing from parents and students all over Chicago who feel like they are being held hostage and that their interests are being disregarded and drowned out. And I fully understand their frustration. If we step back for a minute and think about where we have traveled. Every resident of
we have been listening to a very angry Mayor Lightfoot who says after 80 sessions with the CTU, they have not come to an agreement. She says at a meeting that happened just yesterday that where they thought they were at a certain point, they have taken some steps back. She says this is despite the fact that they have come to an agreement with a comprehensive vaccination plan, accommodations for teachers who have underlying conditions and those who live with people who have underlying conditions. The mayor's saying she wants the CTA to come back to the bargaining table and settle this once and for all, as Chicago parents are one of the few in the state that have the option to have in-class learning. And once again, reiterating that remote learning does not work for everyone.